Hi guys, in this lesson I'm gonna take a simple pentatonic scale, create some chords in it, and then use those chords to play some alto dominants, major 7 chords and minor 7 chords. The first thing we need to look at is to take a minor pentatonic scale and then create some chords. If we take the A minor pentatonic scale, because that's a fairly simple scale to have an overview of, if you play that on one string like this, and we can do that on 3 different strings, and then we can sort of stack those notes so we get 3 note voicings for each note in the pentatonic scale. So if I do that for the A minor pentatonic scale, of course I can just take this middle string set. And if I do that on the middle string set for the whole neck, you get this. So now we have chords for the A minor pentatonic scale, and you can basically use these chords everywhere you would normally use an A minor pentatonic. That means that these chords will work well with A minor 7, F major 7, C major 7, or D sus. So there are a lot of places where you can use this. In this lesson I'm gonna go over a 2-5-1 in the key of G, so A minor 7, D7 altered and G major. So we need pentatonic scales and chords for each of those chords. So now we have the A minor 7, and the next thing I'm gonna do is to go over the chords that we need for the D7 altered. The D7 altered scale is the same as E flat minor melodic. And there's only one pentatonic scale that you can find in a minor melodic scale, and that's F minor melodic. So we get these chords. The last chord that we need a pentatonic scale for is the G major 7. And the pentatonic scale I want to use for that one is the B minor pentatonic. Of course there are 2 choices. If you look at what pentatonic scales you have in the G major scale, you get A minor, B minor and E minor, and the A minor, because of the C, is not such a useful choice, and the E minor works quite well, and so does the B minor, but the difference between the two is whether you have a G or an F sharp, and since I'm playing a G major 7 I want to have the F sharp in there, and therefore I'm choosing the B minor. So the chords you get there will be these. Now we have the voicings that we need to play all the chords in the 2-5-1, and we can start working on some examples. If you want to dig into how you can use the same concept when you're soloing and use minor pentatonic scales to solo over an entire 2-5-1, then I have a lesson on that, and you can check out, there's a link in the description, and also I'll link to it as a card in this video that you can check it out. The first example sounds like this. So this first example, first we get these voicings, and I'm just making really a simple melody. I think I'm thinking melodies when I'm making these. And as you can see in the different voicings, some of them you can really have these fingerings where you can move back and forth. And they're very useful, and sort of I try to hang on to them and use them whenever I can. It's a little bit arbitrary when you have them because they're not everywhere. But whenever you kind of can get away with doing some special fingering so that you can do that, you might as well take advantage of it. So on the A minor, if I play the A minor line with an A under it, and then we move to the D7. Which is this voicing, and then we move to this on the G, and using the same, this is the same move as there was on the A minor. So the good thing about this whole principle is, of course, that basically you get a set of fingerings that you can move around, and you of course need to connect them the right way. But at the same time you can move them around and they will stay the same fingerings and they will work for all of the chords. So the second example is using a different melody. Basically it's just this melody and then harmonized with the voicings. So just walking up the scale, back again, and then the closest voicing on the D7, well, you have to choose. There will be two. There's this one or this one. So I move it up here and then continue up, and then I go back down, and then I used really like a leading note, so I'm resolving the whole D7 sound chromatically up to this G major 7, which is in this case actually this is a G major 6 with a 9, if you look at that specific voicing. And then I ended with this melody, which is just using the first like a G major 7 and then a D major triad over G. As you can see, you don't get a complete chord all the time when you're using these 3-note voicings. You could use 4-note voicings and then you will have a more complete picture most of the time. But the 3-note voicings are really flexible. They're easy to move around and easy to play. And since you're anyway using them to play melodies with, you play more voicings, and sort of the sum of all the notes that you play will give a complete picture of the harmony. The third example sounds like this. So really simple. You have in the A minor you have two voicings that are completely identical next to a whole step apart here. And I'm just using the same set of voicings, a major third lower, because it moves from an A minor over the A minor chord, and then we're using an F minor over the D. So you can just slide that down and do the same thing. And then I'm resolving this one up chromatically, and then coming down to this D major triad as an ending point. That was 3 examples of how you can use pentatonic scales as a resource for chord voicings for basically any type of chord. Probably the way you want to work on this in the beginning, I mean, you want to check out the different scales and know which scale goes with which chord and stuff like that. But you should probably also just take a bit of time to just take one of them and then get used to how it sounds, so that you can easily make melodies with it. If I take the first example, so the A minor, and then just play that over an A pedal. Like this, then you get into your ears also how that sounds. And of course you could do a similar thing, even though it's a bit more difficult to do that with the D. You could also do it in A. To get a sound of how this D7 sounds. And when we're using the F minor pentatonic on the D7, of course we are missing the third of the chord, which is a really important note. There is a way to fix that, because you could also opt for an E flat minor 6 pentatonic scale. I made a lesson on minor 6 pentatonic scales, but for this lesson I thought it was easier just to really take the simple approach and use the sort of the good old minor pentatonic scale that everybody knows, and then maybe I can do in a little later lesson something with the minor 6 pentatonic scales. I hope you can use it to get some new comping and some new melodic ideas into your playing. If you have any questions, then feel free to leave a comment on the video. I try to get back to everybody, and you can also get in touch with me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. So if you connect with me there, then you will both stay up to date with new lessons, and you can also get a hold of me if you have any questions or any ideas for topics for videos. If this is the first time that you see one of my videos, then you can of course subscribe to my channel. I make a new YouTube lesson every Thursday, and I've been doing this for 2 years now, so there's already really a lot of lessons that you can check out. You can also download a PDF of the examples that I went over in this lesson by going to my website. In the article that's accompanying this lesson, there's a PDF download of the examples if you want to study it away from the video. On my website you can also subscribe to my newsletter if you want to stay up to date with what's happening in terms of where I'm playing, or if I'm making a new lesson for my web store, or recording with some people, or stuff like that. I publish a new newsletter once every month. That's about it for this week. Thank you for watching, and until next week.